up, everybody? Mad Outdoorsman here. Thanks for joining me today. Folks, you got to ask yourself what the deal is with these Chinese nationals coming in through our southern border at an alarming rate. What they're doing once they're here, how they're getting here, who's funding that, right? Why isn't the White House doing anything about it? It's another legit question to ask, all right? And folks, this is why I make these videos, to hopefully wake people up to what is really going on, okay? And to have the ability to ask those questions, be free thinkers, all right? Because you know how much the government loves us free thinkers. All right, so let's break it down. This fiscal year that started in October of 2022, which, I mean, a handful of months ago, right? There has been over 4,300 Chinese nationals that have been stopped at our border, caught and released by Border Patrol. And when I say catch and release, it's basically they get caught, they get processed, and then they get handed a piece of paper saying you have to show up to court on the state. And I'm sure every single one of those 4,300 Chinese nationals are showing up for their court dates. So with that said, why is that happening? You know, well, it's no secret that our border has been incomplete, and it's just been a mess, right? It's been total fucking mayhem since Ice Cream Man has taken over. And what did he do once he took over? Excuse me. He canceled most of number 45's border policies, right? So there's that. So who are these people that are coming over? The majority of these folks are military-aged males, Chinese nationals, okay? Which is fascinating, all right? And once they're being caught and released, what are they doing once they're here? Are they spying on Americans and reporting back to China? Are they setting up a secret army? Right? Are they linking up with underground groups, underground Chinese groups? You know. So again, all good questions, right? Who's funding it? Right? Because it costs between $10,000 and $30,000 for a Chinese citizen to leave China to get to our border. All right? So where's that money going to? All right? Well, who has a big influence in Mexico? It's the cartels, right? How do they make their money? Well, they make their money several ways. And one of those ways that the cartels make their money is they get involved with linking up with these Chinese nationals and getting them to over our border. All right? And that's just something to think about. You know, so the CCP, guys, all right, they are pretty much facilitating this whole thing, in my opinion. All right? Because once they leave China, they fly to Ecuador. All right? And once they get to Ecuador, they hook up with these NGOs, they call it. I think it's called non-government organizations, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong in my comments. But the fact of the matter is this, guys. Fewer than 10% of Chinese citizens possess the ability to leave China. Okay? That's a really small number. All right? They have to have permission to leave the country. You know, in other words, they have to have a passport. They have to have an exit visa. And from what I understand, a Chinese citizen obtaining an exit visa pretty much takes an act of God to get. So somebody is helping, or an entity or a government agency could be helping these Chinese nationals with getting here. All right. So it's just all food for thought. And it's not a secret, guys, that China has pretty much been infiltrating us for quite some time. You know, they've pretty much infiltrated every aspect of our country, have they not? You know, from our universities, colleges, research institutions, to buying up hundreds of thousands of acres of farmland across this country, setting up the Chinese police stations in several cities across the nation. And now it's being discovered that thousands of military-aged Chinese males are being caught and released at the border. So, yeah, it's alarming, because you got to think about the escalating tensions between the U.S. and China right now, right? You know, you got the spy balloons that happened back in February. You've got the tensions in the Taiwan Strait, you know, the South China Sea. China's pretty much every day talking about how they're going to invade Taiwan. And, you know, once that happens, folks, the U.S. will get involved. You know, the U.S. has a treaty signed with Taiwan to defend Taiwan. You know, on top of that, we're sending all this money over to Taiwan to beef up their military. All right? So, with all that said, guys, it's imminent that something is going to go down between the two nations. All right? Excuse me while I back up here. Matt Outdoorsman's going on doing some hiking today. But anyway, yeah, guys, just food for thought. You know, something to keep an eye on, something to ask questions about, right? What else was in the news with China? You know, the Chinese president and the Russian president had that big meeting. You know, a lot of people are speculating that they're going to be doing something with the Chinese currency, where it could possibly damage the petrodollar. You know, and that's bad fucking news right there, folks. You know, it really is. You know, if you really dig into it and research it, it's nothing good for us. All right, it's upside down, folks. You know, we were supposed to be the dominant superpower in the world, and we're falling below that line. Okay, and we have an incompetent administration that is focusing on fucking nonsense and just ignoring the fact that we are being infiltrated and pretty much provoking World War III, right or wrong, you know. So, yeah, Chinese invasion, guys. All right, keep your eyes open, keep prepping, do your research. You know, don't just take it from me. You know, I'm passing the information along to you guys to hopefully, you know, get you guys, you know, involved and wake you guys up. And I know a lot of you guys that are, you know, that follow me on a regular basis. You know what time it is already. All right, so it goes without saying. But anyway, folks, with that said, Matt Outdoorsman, thanks for watching.